what's going on, guys? It's Pete here with MixBetterNow.com, coming to you with a brand new Mix Critique Monday. It is Monday, March the 20th, 2017. As always, we've got some very cool mixes on deck ready to go here. This week we have mixes from Randall Rash, Federico Lepre, and Liam Hamer all on deck. If you are new to Mix Critique Monday, I would like to say welcome. Mix Critique Monday is a platform for you to get free mix critiques, another set of ears on your mixes. Basically, all you have to do is email me a downloadable WAV file or MP3, the name of the tune, your name, the name of the artist if it's different from yours. First come, first serve, and I will put them in a list, okay? And then that's how we kind of run this. And everything that I say here is all constructive criticism. It is all positive. My goal is to help you get the best mixes possible. So if I can hear some stuff, that you're not hearing at the moment, I know how it is when you've got your head buried in a project and you listen to it all the time. It is sort of hard to get an objective view. So I am here to help, and everyone else is great. A lot of people leave comments and stuff like that. So, send me your mixes. Always have a great variety of different kinds of genres and stuff. Everything is welcome. This is a super safe place, so I highly urge and advocate you guys to shoot them in, all right? I also forgot to say, you can email me, pete@mixbetternow.com. All my information is below in the show notes as usual, or you can head over to mixbetternow.com and you can get in touch with me over there. We're just going to jump right into it. First one up here is a mix from Randall Rash. The song is called Not Alone, and the artist is Freddie V. Here we go. Love it so far.
Here we are, well I'm off again, going through this world, traveling. I done seen some.
All right, right away, something I'm hearing is the vocals are a little tough for me to hear. They're a little bit buried. They're kind of hanging below. A little bit of mud on them too right now. So I would bring the vocals up. A lot of times it's just line. It's not like you need to make it brighter or anything like that. Just I'd pop them up a little bit here because they're a little hard for me to sort of make out.
Before I've learned my lesson, I know you're trying to leave. The only way I know to give you what you need. So please hold on tight. You're on the mind for you. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me.
I just want to say right off the bat, this is an awesome song. I love the whole kind of, just the vibe, and I love the instrumentation. I think the drums sound incredible. The bass sounds amazing. Just that whole kind of super soulful kind of thing. Really digging it. The main thing that I'm hearing happen is really an overall sort of tonal thing, which is I'm hearing a little bit of muddiness. I feel like there's a little bit of the blanket thing kind of going on the overall mix. So we just kind of want to lift that blanket off just a little bit. I'm going to keep playing it, but as you guys see me do a lot, I'm just going to mess around here and see if we can pull out a little bit of that mud and just kind of clear it up using some subtractive EQ. So if I had to guess before I start doing this, I'm guessing there might be something around a little bit of 200, maybe a little bit of 500. Just those kind of areas we're going to take a look at. Let's keep going here. Really enjoying it so far. Randall, really cool.
We are sitting in this room, finally alone, with a peace of mind that I've been searching for.
All right, so right around 400 here, I'm hearing a little bit of kind of that blankety thing, what I'm talking about. 400 can be a, let's put it this way. I pretty much never boost 400, if that gives you any idea of, it's one of those frequencies that you kind of get, can get a lot of buildup on, be it mud, be it a boxiness. It really depends on the instrumentation. It depends on the timbre of the instruments and all that kind of stuff. But let's see what bringing a little bit of this out does.
All I seem to hear is the sound of your laughter. And if you believe that I don't think about you, you should know it's hard to be so far without you. And when you hold my hand, it doesn't matter how far I may be. No, I'm home. I was there.
So this is what we're kind of getting rid of. See how it almost kind of sounds like it's, you're kind of singing like this, like, and then you're just kind of slowly lifting the blanket off. That's kind of what we're going for here.
So let's enjoy our time. I'ma lean on you, you lean on me, so good when we're together. I lay, but now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me. Wherever I go, wherever I lay, by now you should know I won't lose my way. Your love always saves me. Your love always saves me.
Going to back it up. I'm going to bring the EQ in and out so you hear how just 2 quick moves, well 3 I guess if you count the filter, high passing to around 35-40 hertz, cutting a little bit of 400 and a little bit of right around 200, 212. I'll bring this in and out. Let me actually do the auto gain. A lot of times it's easier to hear it with this. Bring it back here.
We are.
Great breakdown, love it.
We are. We are. Don't you know that we are? And don't you know that we? Don't you know that we are? We are. And don't you know that we? Don't you know that we are?
The stereo guitars here sound really cool. They're just a little bit loud for me. I would pull those down a little bit. Again, on the vocal, I'm just hearing just a little bit of mud, a little bit of that boxy thing happening. I would look for something around 400, 500 to sort of carve out of those lead vocals. I love the stacks when they come in. The choral stacks sound really big and really full. But I think by removing some of that stuff in the lead vocal, it's going to clear it up and enhance it, much like we're doing here on the overall sound of the mix. Let's keep going.
We are. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. We are.
Yeah, the guitars are they're kind of blasting me out. Because they're kind of on both sides, right? If you just bring it down a little bit, or even if you made it a little bit wetter, just to push it back, because they're very forward sounding, right? I always talk about the field of depth. I was gonna say depth of field. I guess it's the same thing, but you know what I mean. So it's kind of like if you want something to sort of, excuse me, if you want something to kind of sit back in the mix. A great way to do it is to add some sort of a time-based effect, something, put some reverb on it to wetten it up. Now, if you don't want it to sound overtly wet, you could just put a little pinch of something on it just to move it back a little bit. You could also use a very fast delay, something like a 30-second note, a 64th note. I'm not insinuating, like a slap of any type, but if you turn the repeats all the way off, it'll actually just sort of, it can almost sound like a short reverb, but just very short. I think that would benefit this because it's really loud and it's sort of taken away from everything that's kind of going on that I'm hearing sort of in front of me and on the left side.
Don't forget it. Don't forget it. We are. Don't forget it. Don't forget it. We are. We are. We are. We are. No matter how far I'm from you, baby. Oh, yeah. We are. We are. We are. We are. We
See, even right there with that vocal, I would just love to hear a little bit, not necessarily a wetter vocal, I just would love to hear that vocal kind of sitting back in the mix a little bit more. At parts, it can almost, it's almost poking out at me where it just seems a little forward and a little unnatural. Just a little bit of wetness, take out a little bit of that mud, and I think that it's a great vocal. I mean, it sounds really good. It's an amazing performance, amazing singer. So that's, those are the biggest, issues to deal with. The rest of the stuff is super easy. A little bit of automation there. Like in the beginning, it was a little bit quiet. Now it's getting a little bit loud. So if you just kind of go through and just make sure you get a nice automation pass, a little bit of subtractive EQ on the bottom, and just a little bit. I would love to hear it push back, right? Instead of being here, just a little bit here.
We are. Glad you know that. We
So what I'm hearing with the guitar is it sounds like it's the same on both sides. It sounds right dominant to me. But when I'm moving around a little bit, I can definitely hear that it's a stereo guitar. Now, if that's your aim and if that's what you're going for, make it stereo, right? Make it a little bit more balanced, because I'm hearing more on the right-hand side than I am on the left-hand side. if that's not a major concern, and if the reason it's stereo because you might be using something like a guitar sim or something that just kind of makes the signal stereo, I would say go ahead and just hard pan everything to one side. I'm a big fan of LCR panning, left, center, or right. I find that the way we listen to music and the way our brains are wired is it's either we hear things kind of coming out of the left, the center, or the right. When we start getting stuff kind of doing, like 33%, I mean, it just sort of kind of smears out and it almost wants to be up the middle or it wants to be out wide. I'm not saying you have to do that, and I don't do it all the time, but just in this particular mix, I think if you took that guitar, threw it out to the right, panned it hard right, and I would just love to hear some really sweet spring reverb on there because, like as a guitar player and, plugging into amps, and the most common thing you're going to have is a reverb tank, a spring tank in one of your amps. So that way it would just sound a little bit more realistic. And if you don't want it to sound wet, if it's just kind of a production decision, you can still add a very short, do something like a small room or a very short tail, like a half a second decay time on your reverb, or use some delay. Like I said, a short 64th note, a 32nd note, depending on how it sounds. Turn the feedback or the repeats all the way down. And the same thing when the vocalist, the singer's, kind of going up really high in the register there. I would love to hear, I can't sing that that high, but it would sound so cool if you could actually hear a little bit of a reverb tail there, just because it is so dry. But really great mix though. I absolutely love the song. Really fantastic. Overall, very, very, very solid mix. Sounds great. Loved it. Love the instrumentation, love the whole vibe. It's a long song, but it's cool because it jams and it stays interesting and it goes to different parts. And that's hard, for a mixer to keep a listener interested for 7 minutes. That's tough. So the song has to be there. Excuse me. The song has to be there and the performance has to be there, which I think it is. So just a couple things on the mix bus. You could, do a little bit of filtering, tighten up that bottom end. Take out a little 200, a little 400. I think would clean that up a bit. Make sure you write your automation pass in on the vocals so that, it's nice and audible at all times when it's quiet. And then when it gets a little too loud, you can pull it down. I would also go out and carve out a little bit of the muddiness that I was hearing in the vocal. And then with that guitar part, I thought the rhythm section sounded great, the drums and the bass. But with that guitar part, sort of kind of commit. It almost sounded like it was uncommitted. Like it's kind of like a, it's not sure if it wants to be stereo or if it wants to be over on the right. So, that's just my opinion. Of course, if you like the way it is, then by all means leave it. I just think it would have more of an impact on the listener that way. But Randall killed it, man. Absolutely killed it. Really enjoyed that. Thank you so much. That was Not Alone by Freddie V and mixed by Randall Rash. Very, very good job. Super impressed. Let's just default this back out and pull this back down. Leave that on. And we're going to cruise over here and we're going to be listening to my man Federico Lepre. Always good to hear Federico's mixes. He's always killing it. This is a tune from the band Little Empire. The song is called Stay New. I know this is from my friend Warren Hewitt's site over at producelikeapro.com. Big shout out to my friend Warren. And actually going to be having Warren on the channel and on the site. Not this week. I believe it's in 2 weeks. Going to be doing a really cool hangout with him. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, this is Stay New by Little Empire and Federico Lepre. It's a very cool song. I've heard it before. So let's hear what's going on. Here we go.
Your touch is on my mind. But I've already written you so many rhymes. You're all that I could find. But I've already missed you so many times. You must be from another world. Your whisper makes my stomach curl. Chills each time you say my name. And pain each night you come home late. I need you to stay new, the rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you. I need you to stay new, it radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. If every building dropped to dust.
Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a tickle today. I don't know if you guys heard that, if you caught that. Amazing job, Federico, where when the chorus hits, boom, louder. I could totally hear the automation kicking in there, and it almost sounded like it got a little bit wider to me, which is something that I always do, especially for this kind of music. In a pop rock tune, I always like to make it a little bit wider in the choruses to make it sound more exciting. Then when you come back to the verses, you sort of bring that width to normal, back down to unity, where your automation is. Really great. Sounds amazing so far. Federico, you've always impressed me with your mixes, man. They keep getting better and better and better. Let's keep going.
If every card turned into rust, if all the money burned up, I need you to stay new. I need you to stay new, stay new, stay new. I need you to stay new. The rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you. I need you to stay new. It radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. I need you to stay new. The rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you. I need you to stay new. It radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. Let's never change. We're at our best. But what does love do after?
Okay, right here, I'm really sorry, guys, keep clearing my throat. Right here, what I would do is I'd bring that kick down a little bit. Now, I'm being a little overcritical because the mix sounds really, really good, and there's really not much I would change with anything. But the kick here is just a little bit loud to me. I think you could automate it down a dB or two, just to kind of really hone in the dynamic. Let's see, because it just kind of takes away from the vocal being a little bit loud.
We're at our best, but what does love do after death? Stay the same, unlike the rest. But what
So what I would do is dip that one area.
does love do? We're at our best.
So when the drum kit, when it's just staying with the 4 on the floor with the kick beat, and there's no snare or hats or anything like that, I would take it down a dB or two, and then once the the snare and everything else comes back in, you could probably bring it up to to where it was.
But what does love do after death? Stay the same,
Right there.
unlike the rest. But what does love do after death? I need you to stay new. The rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you. I need you to stay new. It radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. I need you to stay new. The rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you. I need you to stay new. It radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. I need you to stay new. The rest is getting old. Now that the gold that's shone around me only radiates through you.
The string pad that's over here on the right is a little bit loud and distracting from the vocal right now. You could pull that down a couple dB.
I need you to stay new. It radiates through you. Stay new, stay new. I need you to stay new, 'cause the rest is getting old. I need you to stay new, 'cause the rest is getting old. I need you to stay new, 'cause the rest is getting old. I need you to stay new, 'cause the rest is getting old.
Cool. On the end there, personally, I think it would sound way more kind of, well, I guess it's the taste thing, but I would do a fade out a lot sooner than that instead of just having the pad kind of, and then, hearing the pad stop basically when the player kind of takes takes their hands off the keyboard there. That's an amazing mix. I mean, it's really good, Federico. Like, super good. Killed it, man. Really, really proud of you. Big props on that. Very, very few things I would change there, okay? Just a couple little volume automation things that I would do with the kick that I was talking about in that one part. I would make sure you're riding your kick. Excuse me. And when the drum kit comes back in, then you could, kind of, like if you're doing a touch type automation, I like doing touch automation a lot where when, whether you're in Studio One or you're in Pro Tools and you hit touch, it's kind of like when you have a fader there and you're kind of riding it, but when you let it go, it goes back to the place where, you kind of had your level set. That would be a really easy way to automate that part. And then the string pad kind of in the last chorus here where it's sort of building and it's the loudest, most exciting part of the song. It's just a bit loud and it's kind of distracting from the vocal, which is the most important part of any song with a vocal is always the vocal. So bring those strings down a little bit, and then I would say fade out the end. I mean, I know I could even I could draw a fade in. I'm not going to do it here, but you could see on the waveform, what I would do is, sort of have it where it almost ends, and then you could have a 1, 2, 3, and then just be done with it instead of having it go for 9, 10. So it's like about like just a 10-second pad there, which just sounds a little out of place for such an awesome mix. I would hate to have something, just a little thing like that. All of these things I said, super easy to fix. Nothing major here. I'll never say anything just to say stuff. Sounds amazing. Really great mix. Really great job. Very, very cool. Federico Lepre. That was his mix of Stay New by Little Empire. Federico, keep up the good work, man. Every mix you send keeps getting better and better. So I'm really proud of you for that. Next up, we've got my man Liam Hamer. This is a song called It Burns by the band Project 64. So we're going to line this up. We will open our level here, and here we go. All right, so I'm hearing a lot of sibilance on the vocal. It almost sounds a bit harsh and a bit crispy on the top end. Definitely a very sibilant vocal that could be caused by a variety of things. But I'm also hearing the reverb sort of adding to that sibilance. If you put a reverb on a vocal, depending on what type of reverb you're using, like for example, if it's a plate and it's a very bright plate, because plates sound different, you can get some harshness added into the sound. A way that you sort of counteract and counterbalance that is by EQing the reverb. So a lot of the times what I will do is I like to just EQ after the reverb, because the way I see it is it's like the signal's going to hit the reverb and then you're going to get a sound. So what I'm doing is I'm EQing that reverb sound. I mean, you could do it before. It's kind of like 6 to 1, half dozen to the other. But I just like doing it after, personally. And I will roll off a whole bunch of the top end with a low pass filter or a high cut. I'll use a pretty steep slope, and I will take it all the way down to something like, 10K, 9K, 8K. It really depends on the reverb and it depends on the vocalist. That's something that I would definitely advocate doing here. you get sibilant vocals for a number of different reasons, and it's almost impossible to say why. It could be a lot of times it's the person's voice, and then it's the way that it's recorded, and then it's the way that it's mixed. And let's say it's already sibilant and it's not de-essed and it's not sort of taken care of, and then you start boosting some top end, and you add a reverb on it, and things can get out of control that way. So just keep a heads up for that, and just keep in mind that it's sounding pretty crispy here. Even the acoustic guitars for me sound very bright, very harsh on the top end. So maybe you're boosting something in the EQ, Liam, where it's sort of forced. You're kind of getting that as a byproduct of what you're doing. It almost sounds like it almost sounds to me like the acoustic pickup was recorded as well. And if there's a preamp in a guitar and the preamp has an EQ and it's not set flat, or something is just a little bit bright with it, a lot of these problems stem from the source. You really want to make sure that Liam, I apologize, I can't remember if this is your band or not, Project 64. I think it is. But what happens is, your mixes are going to reflect sort of what is recorded, right? Like I always say, there's mixing and then there's fixing. One of the most important things to keep in mind is you're going to get what you put in, and what you put in starts at the beginning, right? It starts with the song, and then it starts with how you capture it, the recording phase. And it's not about gear, right? It's more about the technique and how we use the instruments and the tools that we have. So, it's tough, because if that's the way that the recording sounds, then sometimes there's just really nothing you can do in a mix to sort of, combat that. But anyway, let's keep going here.
Still to the end.
I also feel like I'm hearing part of that crispiness on top. It sounds like something's clipping somewhere, whether it's the converters. It sounds like a converter clip as opposed to sort of distorting a channel or clipping, the 2 bus or something like that. Just to make you aware of that, Liam, that's something that I'm hearing, in my room through my rig. And unfortunately it is sounding quite a bit harsh. Some stuff that you can do to counteract that the way it is might be to use like a multi-band compressor, where you're kind of really pulling down on some of the top end, to almost, that's kind of like what a de-esser does, right? Like a de-esser is basically a compressor that you tell to compress a certain frequency or between 2 frequency points. That's pretty much what it does. If, and I've said this before, but if this is something that can, with anyone, if it's something you can go and redo, if it's something you can re-record, or a performance you can sort of kind of go back and figure out, this is sounding like X, and I want it to sound like Y. How do we get there? And pretty much 99.9% of the time, it always stems from how it is recorded at the source. And then a lot of it can be, something needs to sound brighter, and you think you might need to boost some top end because that's what you've seen some A-list mixer do, and that's not always something that I advocate. Listening is very important, and being able to recognize these things even with a rough static mix. So like say you record and you're listening back, and you're listening to an acoustic take or a vocal take. And it's almost at that point then a decision should be made saying, this is exactly how I want it to sound. I'm excited, this is great. Or I'm not really there yet. It doesn't sound how I want it to sound. Let's figure out what we need to do to get it there, because I hate the mentality of fix it in the mix. Some things just aren't fixable, during mixing. So I'm in no way picking on you, Liam. I'm just trying to offer some sort of insight as to how I approach things like that, because it's we're all on different parts of our audio journey and our audio paths, and it's just it's such an important concept to make sure that when recording, during tracking and all that kind of stuff, you get the sound that you want, because it's really hard to sort of fix and change things later on. Anyway, enough of me talking. Let's keep going. Love to hear more of that electric coming through the middle. I'm hearing another acoustic come in there, which is sort of kind of battling for space with that electric. So if it's a guitar solo, that's the most important thing. If there's a vocal, right, lead vocal is the most important thing. So just bring that electric up. Sounds really good. See, there it's at a nice volume, but I'm still hearing that other acoustic that's sort of like I'm hearing left, mainly right. I'm also hearing it on the left, and then I heard another one come in through the middle there. If you're going to put the guitar, the electric, up the middle like that, I would maybe think about throwing that other acoustic out to one of the sides there, so you just kind of allow the electric to be up front and center.
And it burns.
Right on, cool fade out. All right. It Burns by the band Project 64, mixed by Liam Hamer. Liam, a couple things, you got a little bit of homework there to work on. Very bright, crispy, sibilant vocals, okay? Overall, had a very bright sort of, I hate to use the word harsh, but a lot of harsh kind of stuff happening on top. A couple parts there, I felt like I heard some converter clipping going on and stuff like that. So all the stuff that I talked about before, think about, consider, take on board. If you have any questions about the stuff that I said, or anything that was unclear, or any way that I can help you sort of get to some of those points, shoot me an email. I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. And nonetheless, I appreciate you submitting that. All right, keep up the good work. If something doesn't turn out how you want it, or maybe it just doesn't. It happens. It's one of those things. It's a natural part of making music, and that's how we get better, is by doing. We get better by doing and by finishing. And it's a weird thing to say, like when people, like if I make mistakes, but I find that I learn the most things when I make mistakes. Like those are the biggest lessons that I learn. So, don't by no means feel like, I'm being rough on you or anything like that. That's just what I'm hearing, and I want you to improve, and I want you to learn, and I want you to, keep getting better so you can make the music that you want to hear. And that's the most important thing. So we had 3 mixes this week. Very, very cool mixes. Really good mixes. Randall Rash submitted his mix of Not Alone by Freddie V. Very, very cool. Federico Lepre killed it. Stay New by Little Empire. And then we just heard It Burns by the band Project 64, mixed by Liam Hamer. So a big thank you to the 3 of you for submitting. I appreciate it. If anybody watching out there would like a free mix critique and like to be on Mix Critique Monday, all you have to do is email me, pete@mixbetternow.com. Please send me an email with a downloadable WAV file, or an MP3 is okay if you don't have a WAV file, of your mix. Please include your name, of course, the name of the song of the mix, and then the artist or the band's name if it's different from yours. Again, my contact information is below in the show notes, and you could also go over to the website, go over to mixbetternow.com. You can hit me up over there. First come, first serve. Super, super easy. Okay. I hope you guys all had a great weekend. And we got some cool stuff coming out this week. Last week I was slammed doing a bunch of mixes for clients. So got a bunch of videos coming out this week. So stay tuned. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. But as always, I just want to say thank you for your time. I appreciate you watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and I will catch you next time.